stream. It is a Sunday. Just thought I would hop on here on live and see how you guys are doing. A lot of news coming as of late with Money in the Bank around the corner. Obviously, AEW Double or Nothing. So there are some things to talk about when it comes to the world of professional wrestling. Obviously, it's a surprise live stream here. Typically, we go at about a half hour from now, but I jumped the gun. It'll be probably a brief live stream today. Just getting home, the family and I, we had went to go see the latest installment in the Final Destination series. Honestly, pretty good. You know, if anybody that's familiar with the channel, you would know that initially we talked a lot about film. We talked a lot about movies before we made the change to pro wrestling. So seeing Final Destination, one of my favorite franchises, certainly in the horror genre, it was a refreshing take and glad to see that it was so well received from both fans and critics alike. And I thought it was really good. Personally, I think it would rank number two behind the original in terms of the Final Destination series. If you guys are fans of those, please let me know in the comment in the chat below as well. Of course, when it comes to these live streams, it's a great opportunity to connect with you guys on many different levels, whether it's in pro wrestling, whether it's movies, sports. As of right now, I got baseball going. The Mets and the Yankees are going at it right now, but I thought I would just hop on live and see how everyone's doing. Hopefully, your guys' weekend has treated you well. We have another week ahead of us, obviously, Sunday through Saturday, another week ahead of us. Monday Night Raw, NXT. We have Dynamite, SmackDown, Collision, and even Double or Nothing right around the corner on this week of pro wrestling. For those who are joining us here on the live, I'm debating about doing more live streams throughout the week. We typically do them two times out of the week, right? We got one on Sunday, we got one on Thursday. But with wrestling at a rampant pace right now, there's a lot going on with Raw on Mondays, Tuesdays NXT, Wednesdays Dynamite, Thursdays TNA, Friday is SmackDown, Collision Saturday. It's basically one day, every day. There's one show at least going on. Another reason why I wanted to go live, and again, it's something brief to hear from you guys, members of the J area, was to get your guys' take on some of the live stream concepts. So a lot of times what I like to do is have these conversations with you guys, leave it open-ended so that you guys can ask the questions or bring up the topics of discussion that you want to talk about. But there are some times where I've debated about doing watch alongs. So obviously Monday Night Raw is live regardless of location. So that's always on Mondays. When it comes to the other programming like NXT and SmackDown, because of location here on the West Coast, I get like a delayed feed of it. So people on the East Coast, they're going to be watching the show first and foremost. And by the time that show ends, is when I see it. So it wouldn't necessarily be a live react as soon as other people. So if that's something that you're interested in seeing more maybe live reaction, live streams pertaining to shows like Raw, SmackDown, AEW as well for people who are, consistent viewers of their product. I know this past weekend, Collision. I don't know. I say this weekend. It was literally yesterday, but Collision aired, and apparently they were pulled off the air 30 minutes before the show was supposed to end. So a lot of talk about that, about what's going on with AEW. And I thought it was very ironic that the movie that had been played in place of AEW Collision was Black Adam, starring WWE's legend The Rock. So that was very ironic in itself. But yeah, go ahead and let me know in the chat or in the comment below if you guys want to see some more live streams in terms of live reactions while Monday Night Raw is taking place. We can have a little bit of a watch along. I know I've seen other content creators do things like that. And I think it'd be a really cool opportunity to kind of join together as a community and continue to watch the show together. As I said, the only issue with that would be with like Raw, not Raw, but SmackDown and NXT because it doesn't play at the same time for everybody. So that would be the only downside. But if it is like for Monday Night Raw, which airs live everywhere because of Netflix, that would be a pretty cool opportunity. I'm thinking about starting to do that tomorrow. Um, and truth be told, with today's live, I was a little hesitant to do it, mostly because, again, we're just getting back from the theaters. We had just seen the new Final Destination. It was Final Destination Bloodlines, ironically enough, right? Bloodlines. But the sixth installment, I thought it was pretty good. I put it second place behind the original. I'm a big fan of the original. Devon Sawa and his performance, man, one of my favorite. I mean, we wouldn't even say slashers, but certainly one of my favorite installments in the horror genre. Shout out to Muhammad there in the chat. I see you, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well. Thank you for joining us here on another live stream. It's a Sunday. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope the week's treating you right. And let's keep it moving into the next week. Hope you're doing well as well. Sunday and same with everyone. Absolutely, man. Love to see it. Love to see the constant support. And I was just thinking about this the other day, that it's truly amazing to see the community that we all have built here together. Because I mean, I started doing the lives like in November, and I was very intimidated at the thought of going live and having strangers, for the lack of a better phrase, but strangers out there seeing me, hearing me. And now that we have a collective group of people with common interests and just an intrigue in pro wrestling, it's great to see, again, just the number of people that have consistently showed up and taken part of these live streams. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. You guys are the reason why I keep coming back to these. It's sometimes it can be a little daunting, but I find that the more we do them, the easier it gets to continue to show my face up here. Muhammad says today marks the first week of Sabu's passing. Yeah, rest in peace to Sabu. As you could probably hear, the residential motorist driving down our street here. It does mark a week of Sabu's passing, 60 years old, 60 years young, if anything. And we had a discussion about that on the last live stream, where Sabu's certainly an innovator of the business and someone that really paved the way for his style of wrestling, and surely will never be forgotten, for his contributions, let alone just to ECW. You can talk about it on a grand scheme, but if we were just to encompass it through Paul Heyman's ECW, the very first pay-per-view of Barely Legal was built on the backs of Taz and Sabu. That first initial feud that really had lightning in a bottle and got a lot of mainstream attention for Extreme Championship Wrestling. That on top of that, just his style in itself. He was obviously known as the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal, death-defying Sabu. Again, and I think about him too growing up. I wasn't there. I wasn't born when he was fighting Taz in ECW. I wasn't watching Sabu until much later when he joined the WWE in 2006 for the One Night Stand pay-per-view. He had a matchup against Rey Mysterio, a matchup that I remember vividly because of the finish. It was a no contest finish where both men would not be able to withstand the punishment that they had. I mean, they went through a table and they ruled it a no contest. Sabu, and he's obviously, his last appearance was at GCW, and there's been a lot of controversy and criticism thrown their way about how they handled his last appearance, as well as just the overall shape that Sabu was in. And again, I still believe, as of this live stream, I don't believe they have released the cause of death. I might be wrong. It's not something that I've been glued to per se. I catch it as it comes. I don't believe it has been released as of yet. But if you guys know, and if it has been released, then please feel free to comment down below and keep me in the know. There's a lot of news to keep up with, whether it's pro wrestling or just news in general. There's a lot going on in the world, and again, it's another way that I can appreciate these live streams, because we can all keep each other informed. If there's things that I've heard and you guys haven't, or vice versa, it's a way to keep everybody informed and make sure that we're all on the same page. But I do appreciate the comments there in the chat, Mohammed. Thank you, buddy. But yeah, Monday Night Raw coming tomorrow live from Netflix. Let me know, guys, in the chat, in the comments below, if you guys would be interested in seeing a watch along for Monday Night Raw. I think it'd be a cool opportunity to again have us connect, especially during a live show. I think that'd be really cool in real time. Obviously, you can be watching it on your TV, on your tablet, on your laptop, or however you watch Monday Night Raw. And maybe on your cell phone, you have it off to the side here, the live stream, and we can connect through there. Muhammad says, how come in wrestling they check on their well being and have more defibrillate? How come they do or how come they don't? Because even then, I feel like in this day and age with pro wrestling, they have gotten more wise and intelligent when it comes to the well being of their athletes ever since the deaths of Eddie and Chris Benoit. Obviously, the wellness program, the importance in CTE and concussions. There's been a lot of awareness that has been brought to our attention as a society, but it doesn't mean it's enough. There's always new innovations. There's always these new concepts in medicine, and is it ever going to be enough? Probably not. Probably not, because there's always these issues arising. We as humans evolve, and just like that, there's going to be other issues that will evolve along with us. In terms of checking their well-being, I think it all depends on the promotion. I mean, you look at a company like the WWE, who has probably more opportunities and avenues to take when it comes to checking on the well-being of their athletes. But for an independent company who maybe doesn't have the same amount of resources as a billion dollar corporation like WWE, they're probably going to be limited. So it all depends on the workplace as well. If you're under employment with somewhere with much more resources, they're probably more inclined to take care of you versus as an independent contractor and you're over here in the independent scene. You might have to watch out for yourself. It's something too that like it really goes to say like with Jesse Ventura, all the way back then, where they had a union in place. Jesse Ventura was very adamant that they had to build a union to protect the wrestlers and have them as employees be insured and be protected, and just in case anything were to happen. But of course, pro wrestling is one of those sports, one of those businesses where it's not really a priority, you know? And it's a shame because for a sport like that, it's heavy in physicality. Obviously, the word fake, choreographed, predetermined, those get thrown out a lot in regards to the world of pro wrestling. But the injuries are legitimate. I mean, you've seen guys and girls time and time again suffer concussions, ACL injuries, MCL injuries, Achilles, broken bones. You would think that at this point in the sports world, it would be more receptive to that type of to those type of injuries. It's also important too to see just the evolution of medicine. I mean, like I've seen the comments here. Muhammad says Edge and Brian Danielson. Those are two guys that very dedicated to their craft, you know, and I don't want to say thankfully, but it got to the point where it was taken out of their hands because I'm sure if it was up to them, they would have kept going, you know, without retiring. But because they suffered certain injuries, it kind of forced their hand. And it's like, well, you can't do this anymore. You know, maybe it's best to sit this out and take a time off, retire, recuperate. And through that time that they were off, medicine evolved. And we've seen guys like Edge, Christian, Brian Danielson, even Nigel McGuinness, who had been gone for quite some time. They've all, I mean, look, I see Soraya, yeah, AKA Paige, all had taken extended time off due to these injuries, and through the evolution of medicine, the progress that we have made as a society, I would like to think, it allowed them that chance to return to the ring. And, you know, it's one thing too, I did not expect the conversation to be so heavily influenced by injuries. but it does beg the conversation because of what happened with Sabu, because of the way he had competed. Sabu, also another guy that broke his neck. I see another Kurt Angle comment there, but broke his neck in an infamous matchup against Chris Benoit that would earn him the nickname the Crippler. And again, Sabu would return to action literally what a couple weeks later, and that was in 94, 95, I believe. It was in the mid 90s, so that's 30 years ago. And to see the leaps and bounds that have been taken, especially in terms of sports medicine, it's night and day. I would like to think. I would hope that a lot of these athletes that are involved, not only in pro wrestling, but obviously in basketball and the NFL, NHL, MLB, I would hope that at this point in the game, the advancements that have been made would allow them to have a much more lengthy, fruitful career in their respective sports. Because there's been a lot of like nasty injuries over the years. I know on this channel we've had discussions about Sean and his back injury. Obviously, one of the hot topics, Joey Mercury. Joey Mercury, who had suffered the injury back at Armageddon 2006. He broke his orbital bone, lost a good percentage of his vision in one eye. That latter spot, very gnarly. And I can remember watching it as a kid with my family, and it's something that we still talk about to this day. It's something that we probably will never forget. And if I were to ever make a list or a compilation of wrestling injuries, that one is certainly going to be involved because of just the severity of it all, but also just how memorable, for good or worse, for better or worse, just how memorable it was. It still sticks out in my mind. Other ones too. I mean, Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, in WCW, when he broke his leg. That one's another one that I remember vividly. Again, I didn't watch it live, but it is certainly one that has really sticks out. We're here hanging out in my garage, the man cave. We don't really, you guys really haven't seen the garage, really. I mean, there's been a couple of TikToks and videos for the shorts that I have recorded here, but you haven't actually seen it. Behind me, you can see we have like a banner for the 49ers, obviously. You guys already know, diehard 49er fan. 5 Super Bowls to our names. We're looking for number 6. Man, it's been, what, 30 years. 30 years since we've been able to get number 6. But hey, but maybe we'll do a tour of the garage one of these days. Man cave. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm not going to lie to you. Got to clean up a little bit here. But that'd be cool. How come Chris Jericho and The Miz can stay healthy most of their careers? I feel like it's down to two things: a little bit of luck, but also just the style of wrestling. The Miz doesn't. Well, The Miz has had concussions. Let's get that out of the way. The Miz has suffered concussions, most notably at WrestleMania 27. But the style, it's not really a high risk style. At least The Miz doesn't. Jericho is a pro's pro who is able to adapt regardless of his opponent. Tara, what's going on? Appreciate you being in the stream. So it comes down to style and just a little bit of luck. They both have obviously suffered injuries, maybe some not as severe as others, but they have. I chalk it down to a little bit of luck and their style of wrestling. Because you look at a guy like Rey Mysterio and his style versus like a Gunther, two different styles. One's more high risk, high reward. Gunther's a grappler. He's a technician. You're not going to see him get as injured as a guy as Rey Mysterio, whose knees have taken a lot of damage over the course of his 30-plus-year career. So it just comes down to their style. I kind of want to do more lives where they're in different locations. A lot of times you guys have seen me in my office slash bedroom at my desk. So we did one in our backyard one now we're doing one in the man cave here in the garage. So maybe we'll do a little bit of these surprise live streams. And it's mostly the Sunday ones. The Sunday ones are the ones where I kind of have more freedom and liberty. That's why you'll catch a lot of the Ask Me Anything live streams on Sundays because it's really just open ended. It's a conversation. Again, if you guys are interested in more live streams, like a live reaction, I'm so down to do it. But it's up to you guys if you guys are interested in that and if it's something that you'd be invested in as like a little side by side. And even then, let's say you do watch the show at a different time, you can still pop in the reactions. You'll hear the audio from the TV of what I'm watching. So Monday Night Raw, obviously tomorrow. Thinking about doing that. Might drop a poll following this live stream. And again, this one's like a brief one. It's more of like a catch up. We didn't do a live stream last Sunday. It was Mother's Day weekend. Got to spend that obviously with my mom. Love my mom. And like her side of the family. So we had a little get together for Mother's Day. So we didn't do a live stream last Sunday because we did it on Saturday for Backlash. Obviously, we will be doing one for Sunday, or sorry, for Thursday this week because we always have our Thursdays. And with Money in the Bank coming around the corner, we're having more content revolving around that. You guys saw the shorts that I've uploaded on the evolution of Money in the Bank, every winner named. We also on Friday had uploaded a tier ranking of every Money in the Bank cash in. That was for our members only video. We will also have a video released on Monday afternoon, so keep an eye on that. We've limited to one video a week just to match the schedule, my work schedule. That is, I do work full time. You know, we got to keep busy, got to stay out of trouble, and so we've limited to one video a week, two live streams minimum, and I think it's been a good schedule. You know, the consistency, being able to see you guys here on the lives as well as those videos. It's a great opportunity to continue to branch out. Obviously on TikTok as well, which I'm debating about going live on TikTok every now and then too, just to kind of branch out and see what's out there. I've only done a live stream on TikTok once. That was during a live stream, so it was like a side by side, a simulcast is what I called it. But that one was brief. Debating about doing it again, and just seeing what's out there. I love the community that we have built here. Obviously, our longtime members like Mama Ramos, San Fran, the Diva, um, Kevin, Gabs, Sylvia, like all the OGs. There's so many people I'm forgetting, but I mean, you guys know. You guys know who you are. Salvi is another one. Martin. There's just so many. Dion. There's like so many people I could name, and I appreciate each and every one of you. If I didn't name you, I'm sorry. There's just, so many names for me to name off, but you guys know who you are, and I appreciate that very much. And opening up the TikTok, I think, would be a great opportunity to kind of branch out and continue to grow together, whether it's a TikTok crowd or have them jump over here to YouTube with us. Any reason why AEW Collision ended early last night? They said it was technical difficulties, but other than that, I don't know. I had read online because, as I said, over here in Arizona, the feed is delayed. I read somewhere that there was technical difficulties and the final 30 minutes of Collision was replaced with the airing of Black Adam. And so by the time it got over here to us, I thought, oh, maybe it'll be fixed or whatever. But no, sure enough, I'm watching it, and 30 minutes before the show is supposed to end, there's a banner, a little banner at the bottom of the TV screen. This is technical difficulties. AEW Collision will not be finishing. I don't know. I don't know, and I'm curious to see. I've seen a lot of people clown Tony Khan and AEW for that. I'm not so sure if that's a them issue, if that's not maybe a network issue, whether it was TNT or TBS, if there were genuine technical difficulties, or I don't think, because I don't think it's their responsibility, them being AEW, to regulate their airtime. They're just merely recording it. They're the ones filming it, but it's up to the network to air that. As far as my understanding, maybe I'm wrong. Feel free to correct me in the chat or comments below. But yeah, I don't know. And it's like I still don't even know. I don't even know how the show ended, but it was certainly something. I saw people making comments like, "Wow, they really are WCW," because in I think it was Halloween Havoc '98, Diamond Dallas Page and Hogan had a matchup, and or was it Diamond Dallas Page and Goldberg? Halloween Havoc '98 ended prematurely because they ran over the time allotted from the pay per view slot. If you guys keep seeing me look over, it's because the Yankees and the Mets are playing, and I'm curious to see how that's going. Right now, it's a 3-2 Yankees up at the bottom of the eighth. But this was a brief live stream. Again, it was just to check in, see how you guys are doing. Again, I was just coming off of watching the new Final Destination movie, Bloodlines. So drop in the comments below what's your favorite movie. If you are a fan of the Final Destination movies, or if you're a fan of any movies, you can drop those down in the comments as well. A brief chat with you guys. It's always great to see you and have this opportunity to connect. Um, Keep an eye on the community tab. I'm going to be dropping a poll right after this live. I'm going to be dropping a poll and seeing if you guys would be interested in a watch along for Monday Night Raw. But of course, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. Thank you guys for joining me on this short live stream. Again, something brief. I'll be seeing you guys real soon. Thank you for the constant support. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and I hope you all have a great week. We got to get through it together. It's a Monday tomorrow, but before you know it, we'll be back on Friday, and Saturday, Sunday will follow. So, with that being said, appreciate you guys. Everyone have a great night, and I'll see you guys the next live.